Oh, hello, hi. It's your old pal, Tom Kelly. I'm at Jones Beach. I apologize if the shot's a little shaky. There is a huge winter storm coming in. If you're up in the Northeast, you've been getting the iPhone warnings and the this warning and the that warning that a storm is coming in. And I'll be honest, as compared to whatever warnings we got last week, this one might be for real. Today on the show, a bunch of random topics, maybe one good story, but we're going to discuss the words apricity and Hurkle Durkle. Now, as I stick with my theme of getting back to the fun right now, audience together, wherever you are, I don't care if someone's watching, please say apricity. I'll wait. And now, say Hurkle Durkle. How could we not get back to fun? How could we not get back to the fun? Let's start the show.
The Tom Kelly Show. Everybody, I want you to go to the Tom Kelly Show. I want you all to know about the Tom Kelly Show.
And here we go. Content warning. Spoiler alert. A storm is brewing, me matey. You are experiencing the Tom Kelly Show. We are recording on Tuesday, January 9th. It is 1:15 in the afternoon. I am down at Jones Beach. I am out on Long Island. I haven't been to my parents' house yet, but I had a doctor's appointment this morning. Actually, I'll tell you, I'm at that age. I knew it was there from a few years ago, but I got my first skin cancer dermatology checks this year. Because I have been, for the last 4 years, spending a lot of time in the sun. And, and I have these like two little dots right here, and I thought they were cancer. Good news, the doctor said they are not cancer. And then while he was checking my hairline, he goes, ooh. And you don't like it when the skin cancer guy goes, ooh. And he says, do you know about this birthmark on the back of your head? And I actually had, at the time I didn't quite remember this, but I would argue in around somewhere between 2012 and 2018, I had a barber. And the barber said, ooh, you have cancer, Tom. And I remember going to my GP or somebody real quick, and the guy laughed and said, nah, that's just a red spot. But then when the dermatologist suddenly goes, yo, actually, this guy did not go, yo. And just to be clear, I would not go to a doctor that went, yo. But this guy went, ooh. And he goes, did you know that was there? And I forgot at the time that I knew it. And he goes, well, we should check this. And I had my first ever cancer biopsy on the back of my head. He did a little thing. He tied a little stitch up. And good news, people, Tom Kelly does not have skin cancer. And that callback was quick. And he had the great line of, well, aren't you glad you now know you didn't have cancer? And I'm like, well, I didn't think I had cancer until I went to you. But I didn't say that to him. And yeah, you know what? Now I know for the rest of my life, there's a red mark on my head, and that's a birthmark. And suddenly, all the money I have been spending on Propecia is money well spent. That also means, geez, man, I don't know if I'll be able to shave my head. I looked at the picture of it. I think I have the map of the former Soviet Union on the back of my head right here. I think I have a map to Leonardo DiCaprio's Hidden Gold on the back of my map. I'm trying to find a reference to that Nicolas Cage National Treasure movie. But you get what I'm saying, people. There's a punchline in there that I'm just not going to get to today. So, today on the Tom Kelly Show, this is, by the way, the podcast where Tom Kelly, a stand-up comedian from Long Island, has had a weird year or two in his career, and I'm just trying to get back to the fun. And yeah, there's a huge storm coming in. I did a good 1.5-mile beach walk when it was a little less windy just a little bit ago, and forgot to record B-roll. So I'll try to record some B-roll now that I'll, plop over the next point I start stuttering. And yeah, and I don't want to impose my New Year resolution on you, but our slogan, at least for the next little while, will be getting back to the fun. Yes, that is my new slogan for the show. And yes, that is my one resolution in real life. And, I'll take you along for the journey. I'll share the trials, the tribulations, and whatnot. But overall, I'm on a mission to get back to the fun. And Jack enjoyed last week's show, episode 355, where I elaborated on the 2024 resolution. And he actually, God bless you, Jack, if you're listening. Jack called me up to share a gift, a gem, a morsel, a little pearl of wisdom, if you will. And he said, "Hey, Tom, I want to share a word you may not have heard before. Apricity. A-P-R-I-C-I-T-Y. My friend Jack taught me this word today. Spell check does not like it because it is, according to Merriam-Webster, a rare word. It's a rare wintry word, which maybe I'll share a couple of rare wintry words in a second. But apricity means the warmth of sun in winter. Have you ever just had a really cold day, but it's so bright and sunny? You still feel the sun? That is apricity. And Jack made the analogy as he was on his 2.5-hour commute home. Jack said, "Hey, Tom, you have to find apricity." Now, I really should look up if this is a noun or not. I actually have a whole list. But, what is your apricity? You're having a rough day. What is your apricity? Is it, you're having a rough day and it's, I don't know, you play with a baby. When my cousin Amy passed away, we had my grandnephew Miles and his brother Xavier. That was a wintry day, and they were apricity, at least figuratively, the way that Jack and I are now using the word. But I'll tell you, it's funny, Merriam-Webster, I guess the Webster Dictionary has a website now about the word. The word provides us with evidence that even if you come up with a really great word and tell all of your friends that they should start using it, there is a very small chance that it will catch on. Apricity seems to be the winter version of the word fetch. Take that, Mean Girl fans. And then, despite the fact that it is a delightful word for a delightful thing, it never quite caught on and will not be found in any modern dictionary aside from the Oxford English Dictionary. And it's not in my Microsoft Word dictionary, blah, blah, blah. The word that I like, subnivean, situated to or occurring under the snow. The simplest way to describe the word, at least for those of us who live in the Northeast, imagine your car in the months of January and February, and it snows, and you're scraping away at the snow and the ice to rescue your vehicle, but what's happening under that is subnivean. And yeah, all right, again, Tom Kelly talking words. Back to the fun. I went to the Gotham Comedy Club Christmas party yesterday. Gotham Comedy Club is a comedy club I would like to work at more. For whatever reason, they're actually incredibly nice people, incredible team of people there. And for whatever reason, I'm just not in their rotation, even though I send my avails. And I kind of asked for an invitation because I'm on a mission right now to just, as I am getting back to the fun, to go out, have fun with comedian friends, and also to let people know that I'm still alive. You know, hey man, you haven't seen me at a TV show, you haven't seen me at this club, but I'm still here. And a lot of great people I hung out with. A couple of people you've heard on the podcast. I saw Lenny Marcus. I'll give you the longer version of this story. I saw our friend Ariel Elias. You'll remember her as the comedian who had a beer can thrown at her at a comedy club about a year and a half ago. She was on the show. And pause on that for a minute. There was another comedian there who I knew years ago. Nice guy, Bill Michaels, but not a friend, not a good friend, not a bad friend. I worked for him in almost a boiler room-like setting at Stand Up New York, literally 22 years ago, actually around 9/11. So yeah, 23 years ago. And what happened would be, you know, I'm a newer comedian. I wanted to get on a good show at a good club. And what I would do is I'd have to help promote the shows. And what they would do is they would have you fill out little contact cards and name, address, and phone number, and you may win free tickets to a show. What the people filling out the cards never quite realized was everybody won free tickets to the next show. You know, and, you know, hey, and then I was basically cold calling, like, you know, almost like a boiler room for stock deals. And you know, and basically if I got a certain amount of people to come to the show, oh my God, I would be able to perform on the end of the show for like 7 minutes. You know, and listen, I was lucky to have that opportunity. But you know, when you work for somebody and you're making other people money under, you know, what feels like boiler room or slave-like conditions, you know, there's that feeling. But as it goes away, as we all get older and you see other people move on to other things, I saw this guy, Bill Michaels, and, you know, speed through the story. I don't know if he's been off for the last few times I've seen him. You know, remember, time is passing. There's also a pandemic in between. And yes, some of the people who were older figures in my life are older now. And speed through the story, Bill gets up. Well, you know, I was talking with him, and he stands up to say hi or to go to the next thing. And then he just fell down. And luckily, there's one of the bartenders from Gotham, a man named Benedict, was there to catch Bill. I kind of helped catch, but Benedict did the heavy lifting. I had a glass in my hand, and I should have dropped the glass, but then I was afraid of the glass. You know, again, it happens like that. But I was at least aware enough to help soften, to make sure he didn't hit his head. And he was fine-ish. And you know, and the nice thing is Benedict took over, the staff of Gotham took over, and everybody, they didn't call an ambulance, but there were caring people who knew what to do in the event of a medical emergency around Bill, who was all by himself at that point. You know, I don't think I knew Bill well enough to sit with him or hold his hand, and not that he would want me to hold his hand. And then I was talking to Ariel, and Ariel was emotionally intelligent to see I was a bit shaken. And I think I said, oh my God, that's going to be me. And, you know, anyway, and she said, no, it's not, Tom. No, it's not. And, you know, talked me off of a cliff or whatever. But the funny part about the party is, you know, there are some big shots there. You know, and, you know, couple of famous-ish comedians or comedians. Chris Gethard was there. Dan Natterman was there. I'm trying to think of like more B-plus list, A-list comedian. But also there's a manager, Tony Burton from the Don Buchwald Company was there. Conan something, or I think it's Conan Smith who manages comics there. So like some big agents are there. And, you know, also other comedians who are working. Ophira Eisenberg was there. She's been on the podcast a couple of times. You know, she's a bigger personality, you know, Lenny Mark, you know, anyway, speeding through the thing. And the owner of the club was there. And a friend of mine said, Tom, don't annoy the owner of the club at the Christmas party. And of course you walk in, who's the first person you lock eyes with? It's the guy you probably think wants to see you the least. But God bless Christmas Zilly. He manages comics, and I wouldn't mind him managing me because of this moment. He knew how to give me the signal He wanted to say hi, and he wanted to keep going. He reaches out, he grabs your hand, he shakes it. Hey, how are you? Thank you for coming. But also gives you like a little tap on the back that keeps you moving down the receiving line and away from him. But it didn't feel like you were being pushed. It was like I need somebody who can give me those gentle nudges. I actually, there was a girl, a friend I hung out with and hooked up with big time once. None of you know her, so I could say her name. Her name was Gretchen, and she's passed away since. Another story. So she won't listen to the podcast. But Gretchen would go with me out on Eliminate recruiting sessions. I had to go out to bars and recruit people to be on a dating reality show. That's the short story on that. And God bless Gretchen. She knew how to do the pull and tap, and yeah, that was kind of cool. I need somebody in my life who could do the pull and tap. All right, there we go. You know what? We're at 17 minutes. It's friggin' raining out. I think it's time for me to move to the next and safer location. I don't know if there was any home runs in today's podcast or any big yucks or laughs, but I promise you. Oh, Hurkle Durkle. We have to end on Hurkle Durkle, the other big word. Hurkle Durkle, Scottish word for lounging around. Now, I got that word from a random hot Dallas Cowboy cheerleader I follow. Don't worry, she has a boyfriend. It was suggested. I looked at her page, blah, blah, blah. But she posted a meme with the word Hurkle Durkle, which means lounging around. And Brian Kist, who listens to the podcast, could you please let us know if Hurkle Durkle is a real word? But I feel like that's not a word you would use in conversation. It wouldn't be like, hey guys, what are you doing this weekend? Ready to have some Hurkle Durkle? I feel like that's a word people use when they're scolding you. All right, boys, enough Hurkle Durkle. Get back to work. That's what it sounds like to me. The way she wrote it was cheerleadery and pretty. The meme was written in script. So I guess, folks, enough Hurkle Durkle. It's time for me to get back to the mainland and do some work. You know what to do, people. Show love where love can be shown. If you can, share my Instagrams, share the podcast, tell a friend, write a comment. Just let me know you're here. You could join the Secret Tom Kelly Show fan group. Whatever makes you feel connected, it will make me feel connected. So thank you. And I want you to connect with each other. I think that's kind of one, it makes me feel like we're doing something useful. Two, I think that's a source of power for all of us. All right? Until next time, friends, good night, Jones Beach. Enough Hurkle Durkle for tonight. Did I just say that like I was Scottish or a pirate?